Hello everyone, my name is Natalie and welcome to or back to my channel. Today I will be talking about the things I love in books. Now these are going to be just a set of things that I really enjoy when I read a book. So they could be tropes or where a book is set. So without further ado, let's get into my list. The first thing I love in books is I enjoy a library setting or a book about books. As a reader, I think there's nothing better than to read a book about books or set in a place where there's loads of books and a mystery surrounding books. It's just as an extra layer, especially when in the book they reference something that you yourself has read, so that way you can connect to the character a bit more, or at least connect to the world. I don't know, I just love reading books about books while I'm reading a book. Now I feel like this can also connect to the library settings, which I love, but I also love a magical school setting or a magical academy setting. There's something just really satisfying that in these magical school settings, it's amazing to see the relationships, how their world is different, how they use magic. And it's just something about these group of characters being trapped together in this school, which, let's face it, is what school is. You're stuck with these people day in, day out. And I don't know, I love the drama of it. And I love it also because, especially in a fantasy setting, it's such a great way for the author to be able to convey more structures about the world and more rules about the world. And they can do it within a way that's fun. It's like the characters and the reader are learning at the same time. Now, another thing I absolutely adore in books is I love a good romance. I love the fact that you can ship two people, even though sometimes those two people who you ship won't be together, but deep in your soul you know they should be together. But I love romance. I don't know why, I've always been this way personally. I'm thinking of kind of blaming Disney for this, but yeah, I love romance. I enjoy a good romance. I know so many people who don't like romance in their stories, and again, that's absolutely fine, but romance is something personally I love, and I don't actively look for it, but it's always nice when it's there. Now, another thing I love in books is I love a good platonic romance. When you have two people who absolutely adore each other, but it's in a pure platonic sense. So it could be that they've got a brotherly bond or a brotherly sisterly bond, or they're just such good true friends that they stick together. And I absolutely love seeing that in books, and I feel like the representation for this is getting better, but it's something I will never get tired of seeing. Positive family relationships. Now this is more personal experience because I grew up in a family that was very loving and very positive, so I do love seeing that reflected in books. Obviously not all my family was this way, but the main core of my family was very loving and supportive, and I love seeing that in books. But not only just the biological family, I love seeing a found family that's just so positive and loving and supportive, and I don't know, it just makes you feel good, especially if you've got a character who you're absolutely rooting for, who you love, and you're just seeing them getting the appreciation and love they deserve from a family that they deserve. And I don't know, I love seeing that. Magic. Now I love a fantasy book, I love a fantasy novel, I love a fantasy series. Fantasy wasn't always something I gravitated towards, but the more I found it and discovered it, the more I realised I loved it. So I love seeing magic in books, and this can be any kind of magic, the completely made up magical system, or it can have elements of elemental magic, or, you know, magic using wands, or, you know, magic with just their hands, or one person having a particular ability and be able to hone and use that ability. I just love seeing magic in books. I think it's because we have such a lack of it in our real world that it's just a nice escapism to see magic being used. And I also think it speaks to the child in me who absolutely adored making potions in the bathroom with random almost empty shampoo bottles. I also love, this kind of falls under the loving books about books, but I also love to see authors and journalists within books. So I love it when our main character or even a side character is writing a book or anything like that. I love when our main character is doing something involving books, which again I think falls under books about books. But I don't know, I love to see the creative writing process through a fictional character's lens. Now this is something that, yes, I love it in books, but it's something I really think should be in books, and in the last few years has got so much better than it ever was. Now that's diverse representation. The world we live in is such a diverse world. We're made up of so many different cultures, both that are influenced our own culture, plus that we are, plus who we interact with, and I love seeing that in books. I also adore reading about it, because reading about it is like seeing the world through a different lens, and I think now more than ever it's something we need so much. We need to be able to see through different people's lenses and experiences. Now the last thing I'm going to mention that I love seeing in books is morally grey characters. So I love a character that is good but can do bad things in order to do good, and at the same time a character who is bad but can do good things, which again is representation of the world. I think it's completely human. As humans we do things that are good and bad, and sometimes you can do bad things but for a good reason, and I just love seeing this because it makes the characters seem so much more real, so much more three-dimensional and almost relatable in some instances. Okay everyone, that is it for this video. Those are all the things I love to see in books. Obviously there is so much more I do enjoy, but those are ones I have mentioned so far. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if this seems like content you will enjoy, and leave me a comment down below letting me know something that you love to see in books, or if I've said something that I love to see in books that you don't particularly like, then let me know that as well. And I'll see you later. Bye!